What's up, everybody? We're building a new bike. This is a 14-inch mods golf cart wheel. It's a 4x4 hub, and we're gonna build a bike around that and around this one. Sorry for that rag. We're gonna use those two right there to build a bike around. When I say that, I mean because literally I will build the bike around those two wheels. So I have my drawings. I measured everything, where I want it to sit, how high the neck is. Okay, so I'll measure from the ground. So to me, that's ground. 26 inches to the highest point. 27 degrees from 90. It puts you right in the sweet spot for the rake. So then what I do is I set up my jig with the height. So the outside diameter of this wheel with tire is like 20 and 1/8, something like that. So we split that in half and set our jig at that height. See, I make a line with a square, okay? See if you can see that. And put it right in those points, and that's the middle. So then I'll set my width with these. So I put these all together, and then I'll set my width and set the set screws on the live axle to keep it in place, okay? And that's where I'll put my bottom rails, and then I'll use some conduit. Actually, these are gonna get bolted to this here as soon as I have this first bend done. I think this is probably still in a good spot, but it's hard to tell just from the drawing, you know what I mean? I don't want to go putting some big screws through there into the steel and then have it be in the wrong spot. Anyways, so we'll get going on this, but I think to make one continuous bend here, I need a 6-footer. These are 4-footers. So I'm gonna have to stop by Steel Place and get me a couple of 6-footers, or I just build this and then come down from the neck later and meet those pipes. So we'll see what we can do. We could probably just come down and bend the end and meet it right there or something. We'll see. So this one's basically just gonna be up, flat, and then jump up, kind of like that green one, but bigger. And I'm sticking the rear tire out a lot more so that I can have a handle, because unlike the red bike, there's nowhere to lift the bike up. It's kind of awkward when you do that. So when you have an exterior handle behind the seat, man, that really makes a difference. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make an episode each day as I go along, and we'll build this sucker. So this is the first uneven bike that I've done. The rear wheel is a 14, the front is a 12. So I'm kind of going with that old school rat fink hot rod look. But like I said, the rear wheel will stick out more and you'll sit more forward. I believe the wheelbase is around 52 inches. That one is 50. This will be a little bit longer because we stick the ass end out, but shouldn't be bad. I like to put the bolt head inside because I'm going to need as much room. Whoops. I'm going to need as much room as I possibly. Start that over. So I like to put my bolts with the head inside because I'm going to need as much room here as I can possibly get. These are the $22 or $24 live axle bearing kits from Amazon. Comes with some sort of zinc coated, I don't know what you want to call this, hanger. Okay, looking pretty good. So then what I do is I'll measure the width, which on this one, the inside width is 10 inches from the center, which is right there. This is where the bottom of the frame is. This is 3 3/4 inches off of the ground. It's a little taller. I usually only use 2 2x4s, but man, if you like to turn, that extra little ½ inch or whatever is going to make a huge difference. Plus, my bikes, I like to put my feet in front and keep them close instead of on the side of the engine. That way you can't turn for squat if you do that. So like I said, I got my drawings done. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at that a little bit. This little block is basically the space for the engine. I think this gas tank, I have another one of those round gas tanks, but I think I'm going to put it, instead of lengthwise, I'm going to turn it so that the circle's on the side on this one. I think this bike is just going to be white and chrome. I like the big chrome. I'll probably put some LEDs to shine in there, like a white LED when it's done to light the wheels up. I'll do that in the front too. This is going to be basically my bike. I mean, they're all my bike, but my wife gets the hand-me-downs when we're done. I did sell the green bike, so we're one shy. And I think my next bike is going to be an off-road because I have the shocks, I have the wheels and tires right here to do an off-road. And that should be fun because there's some pretty badass off-road mini bike events in Michigan. So I'd like to be a part of that. But in order to use this wheel right here, you need this. This is a 1-inch keyed axle 4x4 hub. But it will only work if you use 1/2 by 20 lug nuts. The nuts that come with it, you can't use them because you can't get a socket around the nut into that recess. So you have to order 1/2 by 20 lug nuts with a key. And what they mean by 4x4 means that this square is 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, 4 inches, 4 inches. It's a 4x4 bolt pattern. This is the engine that's going to go in it. This is a 212. I don't really care for using the 225s. Parts are kind of hard to find. I mean, it's mostly the same parts, but I don't know. I just like the 212. I don't want the engine to get any bigger. I'm trying to say it's a 99. So this has a billet rod. Yes, an arc one. Chromoly push rods, 26-pound springs, the aluminum retainers, Champion rockers. It's got the flat top piston in it. So when you're building a bike, you basically get going and you work from problem to problem. Pretty much right off, you're going to have a problem, like me. To make this full bend, this full piece on the bottom here, I need like a 6.5-foot piece of steel. All I have are 4-footers. Okay, so I'm going to have to build it like I did the green bike. So what we'll do is we'll come down, go forward, and then bend around, and we'll make a loop basically for the rear end. It'll come down, loop, and then come back on the other side. Then I'll come down from here with 2 to stabilize it. We're going to start bending some tubes now. All right, so as per the plans, we're going to go onto the block a 1/2 inch. First bend at 11 3/4 inches, and we're going to bend it 22.5 degrees. So we're going to mark our pipes. We're going to put a mark at 11 3/4 and make our first bend. Okay, I eyeballed it as best I could to 90 degrees. This one we're going to bend to 90 degrees. And then we have to do the opposite on the other one. So this would be facing down. "90-degree bend, we probably got to go switch the pin." Yes, sir, we do. So you pull this out, go back, next hole. Keep bending. Again, we're going to go a couple over. That's supposed to be at 91.2 right there. We'll probably bounce back. I'm sure it's me. Like I said, this is a hobby. It's not a job to where I work at it every day. You know what I mean? Something I do every few months. All right, so this is where we're at, day 1. I had to do a bunch of other things today, so I wasn't able to stay busy on it. But you can see the gist of it. Cut it in the middle, weld it together there, and then here cut little slots. I only wanted those pipes to go up about a 1/2 inch, and I did angle this a little bit. It just fit together better that way. You know, drawings are great, but what you can do in real life is, you know, like I said, I'm not a pro or whatever. I don't weld every day for a job. I paint houses for a job. This is just a hobby, but it's a lot of fun. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to have another, you know, angle coming up here and then going flat over and then jumping up to the neck, kind of like the green one did, and then the 2 stabilizers on the front. All right, as you can see, I have a couple clamps. I really like these clamps. I got these from Harbor Freight. They grab stuff really well with the rubber, so I've got it all clamped down here. I'm about to tack together my front. Thing seems to be square. We do a little more welding just to help kind of strengthen some things up.